The first question in my evaluation of my media product is, in what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? Following conventions. The first thing I noticed when I looked at a real media product is that a lot of the front covers are black and white of the main artist, so I decided to follow that convention so that when people look at my magazine they know exactly what genre it is. I also told my model to pull a serious expression on the front cover, as I found that other indie artists were very serious when they posed, and I wanted her to be recognisably indie. As you can see on the front cover of Q magazine, they've got the stone roses in bold across the page, so I used this in my magazine to capture the audience's attention so they know exactly who is the main featured artist in this magazine. I chose to use simple bold text down the sides of my magazine because I feel like it helps the audience read the text to start with, and I noticed that in other magazines they've done the same, as indie is a very simplistic genre. On my contents page I decided to follow the convention of having the features all down one side. I feel like that it just makes my magazine look a lot more professional. I decided to label a picture of my front cover to show what pages each of the main features are on. I decided to do this just to add a little something different to my magazine. I put multiple pictures on my contents page. I found that in Q they did this a lot. I've done this so that if people are just flicking through and want to see if they want to buy it, they can immediately see how many different artists are featuring in the magazine. On the double page spread, I found when doing my research that a lot of artists are featured playing their instruments, and a lot of the images are a lot more relaxed. I wanted to follow this convention so that it looks like an authentic music magazine, and it also made my model look like a real artist. I decided to include a pull quote because I noticed that a lot of magazines, not just indie ones, do this, so it just made my magazine look a lot more professional. On my contents page I decided to feature colour images, although my house style before the double page spread is very dark colours, a lot of black and white. I decided to do this just to add something different to my magazine that wasn't on my contents page or my front cover. I feel like it makes the artist stand out a bit more as well against the black background. Challenging conventions. My media product on the double page spread, when I did my research I found that a lot of magazines use close-ups of their main artists, whereas I didn't want to do that. I wanted my audience to see her in a lot more relaxed pose, whereas I feel like close-ups are very posed and they don't look very chilled out or laid back. I also chose to do a Q&A. This is because when I did my audience research, I found that a lot of the my target audience said they wanted to see a Q&A because they wanted to know a lot more about the backstage life of the artist, and you can only really get that from a question and answer rather than an article, whereas as you can see the other magazines have all done articles. I also added links to other websites like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram on my magazine, whereas I didn't find this in any of the others I've researched. I wanted to do this to show that my magazine is very modern, up to date and it's new, and it also helps promote the new artists, get them some more followers, get more interest from the audience members. I also challenged conventions because my front cover artist is female, whereas I found that a lot of the other ones in magazines I'd researched are all male. As you can see, the Stone Roses, Sex Pistols. I wanted to do this because I felt like it would attract a wider target audience. There are males featured in the magazine, just not on the front cover, so I felt like by having a female on the front cover people can see it's something a bit different. Girls will be interested as well as boys. How I developed my magazine. So I saw that when I looked at Kerrang, they had a little note from the editor, so I developed that into using an editor's pick for my magazine. This is where the editor picked a favourite artist of the month. I feel like this is a little twist on an editor's note, and it adds a bit of, makes my magazine a bit more personal. I also used inducements, but I used different inducements, so I advertised free tickets instead of posters or a CD. I chose to do this because I feel like people are more interested nowadays in winning tickets than they are in winning something like a poster or something like that.